Dear friend, thank you for choosing to rest your heart and mind here with dreamy detections tonight, finding a gentle sanctuary in our quiet story. We offer this narrative as a soft, comforting blanket to help you drift easily into deep slumber and sweet contentment. If this gentle journey brings you peace, a kind like, a peaceful subscription, and a soft comment are always appreciated. Tonight, we will be visiting the perpetually serene village of Whispering Thimble, a place where the air itself smells of warm linen and gentle magic. Prepare to be enchanted by Nora's quiet retreat into a world of rhythmic needlework and soft light, where the community's deepest good wishes are woven into beautiful blankets. Step into this peaceful space and allow the stillness to settle softly around your own quiet thoughts. Chapter 1. The Whispering Thimble's Soft Welcome. Nora arrived in the hamlet of Whispering Thimble, feeling the immediate, profound calm as the pervasive pale mist settled softly around her shoulders like a fine shawl. The gentle, diffused light of the afternoon sun filtered through the moisture-laden air, granting the entire village a dreamy, hushed quality that instantly quieted the restless edges of her mind. She felt a deep, immediate sense of safety and isolation, realizing this tranquil place offered the restorative peace her quiet spirit longed for. The small, rented cottage welcomed her with a gentle embrace, its interior filled with the comforting scent of aged wood and sun-warmed linen left to dry by a kind hand. The floors were polished to a soft sheen, reflecting the faint light, and the walls were painted in a muted, creamy white that encouraged the eyes to rest and the thoughts to slow their pace. Nora ran her fingers over the smooth, cool surface of the wooden mantelpiece, appreciating the silent history held within the space. She began the comforting ritual of unpacking her belongings, moving slowly and deliberately, finding a meditative rhythm in the organization of her quiet tools and textiles. Each folded piece of wool and each smooth wooden spool of thread was placed carefully into its proper space, creating a small, ordered world of her own making within the peaceful cottage walls. This gentle task grounded her entirely in the present moment, dissolving any lingering sensations of urgency or distance. Through the cottage window, the view was a masterpiece of soft tranquility, featuring rolling hills that seemed to melt into the lavender-scented mist, their outlines blurred into soft, comforting shapes. The only sounds reaching her ears were the gentle, distant cooing of doves settling into the eaves, and the faint, rhythmic snip of tiny sewing shears carried by the light breeze. Sounds that affirmed the village's dedication to quiet pursuits. Nora watched a patch of moss on the windowsill, its texture looking velvety soft and inviting under the muted light, a small, perfect detail in a peaceful scene. Later, she discovered a heavy cream-colored envelope slipped beneath the door, a handwritten invitation to the local quilting circle that promised soft light and simple companionship. The paper felt thick and reassuring under her fingertips, and the elegant, unhurried script suggested a life lived at a pace of deep, sustained calm. She smiled a gentle smile, feeling a genuine warmth bloom softly in her chest, anticipating the shared quietude of the gathering. As the evening drew in, Nora lit a single small oil lamp, allowing its warm, diffused glow to fill the cozy living area, creating pockets of soft amber light that invited quiet contemplation. She settled into a deep, comfortable armchair, its cushions providing a gentle, yielding support that encouraged her body to release any unnoticed tension, allowing a deep, effortless breath to expand her lungs. The quiet tick of a small antique clock was a soothing, consistent companion in the stillness. Before preparing for rest, Nora examined a partially finished quilt that had been left for her to bring to the circle, its surface a mosaic of softly colored cotton squares. She held the fabric gently, appreciating the intricate, careful stitching already present, running her fingers over the smooth, cool texture. Suddenly, she noticed a faint, shimmering pattern woven into one corner, a delicate miniature image that seemed to shift subtly as the lamplight touched it, an unexpected visual delight. The pattern was a tiny, perfectly formed image of a small, sleeping kitten curled up on a velvet cushion, a picture of profound contentment. Nora studied the detail, realizing the threads creating the image were finer than any she had ever seen, appearing almost spun from moonlight and quiet air. This delightful, gentle anomaly did not require an answer. It simply offered a shared moment of whimsical wonder, confirming the village's unique charm. Nora felt a gentle weight settle onto her shoulders, a feeling of deep physical calm that permeated her entire being, allowing her mind to rest completely. The soft woolen blanket she pulled over her knees was heavy and reassuring, wrapping her in a cocoon of safety and warmth. She closed her eyes for a moment, appreciating the feeling of profound stillness. From her window, she could see the distant, soft golden glow of the community room's lamp, a warm beacon shining softly through the lavender mist, signaling a haven of continuous warmth and gentle activity. She carried the image of the tiny, sleeping kitten in her mind, realizing that the simple wonder of this place was already beginning its restorative work. Chapter 2. The Rhythm of the Calming Stitch. The next morning, Nora followed the softly winding, moss-edged path to the community room, finding the door propped gently ajar, inviting entry. Stepping inside, she was immediately enveloped by a powerful sense of warmth and comfort, the air thick with the pleasant grounding sense of aged cotton, sweet tea, and warm beeswax polish. The wood-paneled room was bathed in soft, diffused light from the tall windows, making every corner feel cozy and secure. The soundscape of the room was a tapestry of peace, the rhythmic soft clicking of tiny needles against thimbles, the low contented murmurs of gentle conversation, and the continuous low soothing hum of an antique sewing machine resting in the corner. This gentle vibration subtly permeated the space, acting as a deep calming sonic anchor for the quiet activities within. Nora felt her own internal rhythm begin to slow and harmonize with the room's pervasive tranquility. Mrs. Willowbrook, the circle's kind leader, greeted Nora with a soft, welcoming smile, her hands perpetually busy with a piece of fine stitching. Her voice was a low, melodic tone, instantly reassuring and filled with the wisdom of long, quiet years spent in peaceful pursuits. She settled Nora into an empty, deeply cushioned chair, offering her a mug of fragrant, warm tea that smelled faintly of cinnamon and comfort. Nora joined the circle, the comfortable weight of the large quilt draped across her lap, its texture a mix of smooth cotton and slightly rougher wool. She began the repetitive, mindful activity of the running stitch, focusing entirely on the deliberate movement of the needle through the layers of fabric. This simple, focused task required only gentle attention, allowing the deeper parts of her mind to finally rest completely. The pace of the needlework was unhurried and consistent, a deliberate slowness that felt deeply luxurious and restorative. Each stitch was a tiny act of presence, connecting Nora physically to the peaceful energy of the room and the collective intent of the women around her. The sensation of the fine thread slipping smoothly between her fingers was profoundly soothing. Mrs. Willowbrook then gently showed Nora the section of the quilt she had brought from the cottage, pointing to the spot where the sleeping kitten had rested the night before. Now, in the very same place, a new, perfectly formed image had materialized. A miniature detailed rowboat floating serenely on still, mirrored water, a beautiful addition to the fabric. The image was distinct yet softly rendered, as if painted by morning mist. Nora observed the tiny rowboat, appreciating its flawless, gentle presence and the mystery of its creation without needing to solve it. It was a delightful, harmless oddity, a piece of soft magic woven into the life of Whispering Thimble. Mrs. Willowbrook explained that the quilt was destined for Mr. Ashworth, a quiet man who found great peace by the tranquil river. The warmth emanating from the teacup spread a comforting heat through Nora's hands and chest, gently melting away any residual unnoticed tension. She watched the steam curl lazily from the mug, carrying the scent of cinnamon and cardamom into the air, a sensory pleasure that intensified her feeling of deep contentment. The soft light of the room felt like a physical caress. She continued her stitching, feeling a profound calm settle over her, recognizing that this was a place where simple wonder was accepted as a daily truth. The collective quietude of the circle was immensely restorative, building a protective layer of peace around her heart. She felt her breathing become effortless and deep, a natural rhythm of rest. The low hum of the antique sewing machine provided a constant, gentle backdrop to their work, a sound that reinforced the stability and enduring nature of the community's peaceful routine. It was a soft whisper of industry and calm, never demanding attention, only offering a continuous presence. Nora thought to herself, "A simple wonder is a deep joy," appreciating the truth of the phrase as she watched the needle dance slowly through the cloth. She understood that accepting this charming puzzle was the key to unlocking the deeper rest the village offered. Chapter 3. Community Comforts and Shared Wonders. The following afternoon, Nora ventured out through the pervasive lavender-scented mist, making her way to Mr. Finch's tea shop, a location that promised another layer of community warmth. The air was cool and clean, carrying the earthy, grounding aroma of damp moss and rich soil, a scent that felt deeply restorative to the senses. The mist softened the edges of the world, creating a gentle, enclosed feeling. Mr. Finch's shop was a haven of polished dark wood and glowing copper kettles, the windows gently steamed by the warmth inside, allowing only diffused soft light to enter. The comforting scent of freshly brewed black tea mingled with the sweet aroma of baking honey cakes, creating an irresistible warm invitation to stillness. Mr. Finch, a soft-spoken man with kind eyes, prepared Nora a perfect cup of fragrant, comforting tea with deliberate, unhurried precision. The community soon began to gather, each arrival marked by a soft tinkle of the bell above the door and a gentle exchange of greetings. The low conversational tones of the neighbors created a soothing background hum, a gentle rhythm of shared lives and quiet companionship. Nora settled into a comfortable window seat, sipping her warm tea and simply allowing the peaceful atmosphere to envelop her completely. The conversation naturally drifted toward the quilting circle and the newest pattern addition, the miniature rowboat. The neighbors spoke softly about the recipient, Mr. Ashworth, sharing gentle, happy memories of his past fondness for quiet hours spent by the nearby tranquil river, appreciating the stillness of the water. They discussed the tiny, perfect detail of the boat, treating it as a shared, delightful wonder rather than an inexplicable mystery. Nora listened, wrapped in the warm acceptance of the group, recognizing that the patterns were reflections of the community's collective, peaceful good wishes and shared, gentle lore. Mrs. Willowbrook softly mentioned an old community tradition, the belief that the act of stitching together disparate fabrics gently drew the happiest dreams from the surrounding air and wove them into the material. This was shared not as a fact to be proven, but as a comforting, gentle piece of local wisdom. The smooth, warm surface of the wooden table beneath Nora's hands felt grounding and real, a tangible anchor in the gentle magic of the town. She observed the way the light caught the steam rising from her tea, noticing how the fragrant vapor seemed to hang suspended in the still air, a beautiful, ephemeral sight. Every detail contributed to a feeling of deep, present moment awareness. The deep sense of belonging provided profound rest, allowing Nora to experience a complete release of the need to analyze or strive. She realized that the greatest comfort was found in the simple act of listening, accepting the world's gentle offerings, and appreciating the quiet kindness of strangers. The gentle weight of the community's presence settled around her like a protective layer. Even here, away from the circle, the memory of the continuous low hum of the sewing machine was a comforting presence in her mind, a soft, familiar sound that anchored the peace of Whispering Thimble. The hum represented the steady, unwavering calm of the village's heart. Looking out the steamed window, Nora watched the lavender mist drift lazily past, its subtle, sweet scent occasionally permeating the tea shop. She felt a profound contentment, realizing that her quiet journey toward restoration was complete, finding deep joy in this simple wonder of shared warmth. The community's love was the gentle thread that held everything together. Chapter 4: Serene Resolution and Lasting Peace. Nora returned to the quilting circle with a profound sense of lightness and anticipation, ready to contribute her final, careful stitches to the quilt destined for Mr. Ashworth. The atmosphere in the community room was especially tranquil that morning, filled with the soft, even light of a gentle day and the comforting rhythm of their shared craft. The low hum of the antique sewing machine felt like a quiet blessing upon their work. She worked slowly and deliberately, ensuring each stitch was even and perfectly placed, finding deep satisfaction in the physical culmination of the collective effort. The texture of the finished sections of the quilt felt rich and dense, filled with the collective warmth and gentle intentions of the stitches. The deliberate, satisfying feeling of the final stitches secured her own inner peace. As Nora secured the very last thread in her section, a soft sense of completion settled over the room, marked by Mrs. Willowbrook's gentle sigh of contentment. Nora looked down, observing the fabric one final time, and noticed a new, tiny image materializing near her finished section, shimmering softly in the diffused light. The image was a small, perfect bird, perched serenely on a mist-covered branch, its head slightly tucked under its wing, in a posture of deep rest. Nora instantly recognized the image as a reflection of a quiet moment of profound stillness she had experienced that very morning while watching the mist clear from her cottage window. The gentle puzzle resolved itself not through active searching, but through the simple acceptance and peaceful participation in the community's rhythm. She understood now that the quilts truly absorbed and reflected the peaceful intentions and happy dreams woven into them by the hands and hearts of the stitches. The riddle was merely a gentle confirmation of the pervasive tranquility of Whispering Thimble. The warmth of the finished quilt, heavy and reassuring, settled over her lap, a tangible representation of her restored calm. Saying gentle goodbyes, Nora felt a deep and abiding gratitude for Mrs. Willowbrook and Mr. Finch, carrying the memory of their soft voices and kind smiles. The acceptance and warmth of the community had provided exactly the sanctuary she needed for her spirit to quietly mend itself. She knew the peace she had found was lasting, woven deeply into her being. Walking back to her cottage in the late afternoon, Nora looked towards the community room and saw the warm, diffused golden glow of the oil lamp already shining through the lavender mist, a soft farewell and a promise of enduring tranquility. The window glow was a visual beacon of continuous, unchanging warmth. She settled into her armchair, feeling a complete release of all remaining tension, the gentle weight of the day settling only as profound rest. Her breathing was effortless and deep, a natural rhythm of peace and contentment. She realized with a soft exhalation that a simple wonder is a deep joy, a truth that would stay with her long after she departed. The clean, calm scent of the lavender mist wafted through the open window, filling the cottage with a final, soothing aroma as Nora prepared for a night of deep and restorative sleep. She closed her eyes, feeling the soft texture of the woolen blanket and the profound stillness of Whispering Thimble, cradling her gently toward peaceful dreams.